people that liked him.
Yeah.
And I think that was real good for him that year.
Now, building the cottage, there's Uncle Robert's Hornet story. Who wants to do that one?
You want to do the Hornet story?
I'm not real I wasn't.
What about Hornet story?
Well, the one. Okay, I'll tell the Hornet
Yes.
story. The one that we had part of the second story up by then, but right in back of the new addition, right at the base of where the old stairs came down, there were some big bushes right there, and they were just basically right at the where the overhang now drops down onto. And Uncle Robert was sweeping up debris right in the new entryway, and it was, I remember it was all open because there was no roof or anything covering it, and he was sweeping away, and all of a sudden he just went ouch, you know, and he was really frustrated because this hornet had stung him on his head or something, and so they put a little bandana around his head and stuff, and he went back to working, and sure enough, he got stung again, you know, and I just remember Uncle Robert could get so frustrated, you know, at times, you know.
Mad.
Mad, yeah.
Yes.
And so, finally we found out that there was a hornet's nest that he was working near the bush that was right behind the new addition. And so that night it was decided, it was told to us that we needed to wait until night when all the hornets returned to the nest. Then you pour gasoline on the nest and light it. And so it was...
That was the first mistake.
It was... All right.
You remember this story now.
Who worked? All right, who worked it up? Marcia's Gary,
Yeah.
Weinhold, and I were on the second story overhang, pouring the gasoline down onto the nests, and Ron had the torch down on the first floor. And I remember Gary was pouring the gasoline, and Ron kept saying, "No, you're not hitting the nest." And Gary would say, "Well, yes, I am." And all of a sudden we found out we had two nests that were in there. And so Ron directed him, "Oh, hit that other nest." So we poured more gasoline on that nest. And this bush was just one of those sort of stickery bushes that had a bunch of leaves to it, you know, not real thick. You could sort of see through it tight.
I know what, yeah.
And so we poured all the gasoline on there. And I remember I came downstairs, and about the time I came downstairs to look at the bush through the doorway, Ron stuck the torch in there, and there was just a big ball of flame that just went up. And it just looked like the whole place was just going to burn down at that time. People were yelling for hoses. I was frantically looking for the hose. Uncle Robert was up on the road, and he said he saw the flash, because it was nighttime at that time. He was distinguished the flash. By the time the ball of flame had gone up, and everything had calmed down, all of a sudden you noticed that really most of the leaves were basically fried, but all it was you had these two little burning globes inside the bush still, and really didn't need water after that. I remember the Cruzies were down at the Myers, and they came up because they had seen it too. And it was just something that probably took less than 30 seconds, and it was just a story to be able to...
I never heard that.
Oh, you never heard the Hornet story? Oh, that's a good one.
But the place did not burn down,
No.
and it got finished eventually, and
Mort, well, I mean, furnished most of the money.
Mm-hmm.
I think we put in little, but
Yeah.
very little.
Yeah. Overall
But
cost, I think, came to 20, 25, 30,000.
Wasn't that much?
I think it was. Yeah.
I
Ooh.
always heard 17 or
Oh
something.
no.
Yeah, it might have been because for that time,
Well, yeah,
for as
but
much as we
then-
spent.
Yeah, but then didn't she? I thought it was like around 18,
Okay.
and then after it was all that was all done, then she sent. Didn't she send you some? She sent.
Oh, we sent us some
Yeah.
money sort of
Some
thing,
money.
a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Which I thought brought it to about 20,000.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
so I think
that's
20,000 probably was
I think
about
that's
the right
about
number.
what it was. But
Yeah.
boy, did she get a bargain.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But then, I don't know, it needs to be part of the story that when she took retirement and needed a place, we were ready to retire. And that's when she came through with being willing to sell shares, which was 12%. That we could buy, that Dolly bought, Clara bought, and there was a 12% for Bing. And he didn't pick up his share.
Mm-hmm.
And that provided the funds for us to get the contractor to build this thing.
Oh, that's good.
To build this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front edition. Okay.
And the idea was, you see, that there would be space for us and Clara
Mm-hmm.
and Dolly and Mort. And Clara was, then after Bob died.
Yeah. He died though before this part was built.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
But after the new part had been built, right?
Yes, but then she was, the same as us. She could have lived here.
Mhm.
She could have sold her house, and that's why it was built that way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and
The contract was something like 57,000.
I thought it was 60.
And by the time we bought better rugs and
Mm-hmm.
carpeting and some other furnishings, it came into up to 62, something like that.
To build this front
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that much. I guess yeah. But considering what they put in, and that was with tearing out the old also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a bargain.
Yeah.
I
All things
mean,
considered for what was put in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
you could just turn down the little place.
And what
The
year was?
excavation that he had to do. and so forth.
Right. What was the year?
That was 86.
84.
84.
84.
It's almost 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was started with some original plans that somebody drew up at one time.
Oh, you had a contractor.
Oh,
an
yeah.
architect.
No.
Okay.
And the contractor then,
Mm-hmm.
we redesigned the thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing those original plans and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
looking them over and stairways
It had
and stuff.
no basement. It had enough room for a shower right at the door that would go into the basement, plus a storage area or something like that. The original plans.
Oh yeah.
And the original plans then had the floor plan here. It had kind of a living room like this, but then it had a loft of some kind.
Yeah. I remember that. Up to that part. Even had a fireplace, didn't it? because I think,
Yeah,
because remember, you gotta remember back that, oh, we had this fireplace in the old part, and we wanted to have that fireplace in the new part. Remember?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was originally the idea.
Well, even on the original building is, I mean, the fireplace is supposed to go in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Where the breakfast bar. You mean in the back section?
Mhm.
And, yeah,
This
the
thing.
original
Yeah.
In the
place.
75
Yeah.
edition.
Edition.
Right. There was supposed to be a fireplace between the kitchen and the dining room.
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah. Instead we put a breakfast bar in, which has been a little better.
I think so. And
But some of those are the things I remember because we spent a lot of time up here, and I did most of the negotiation with Arnis, the contractor.
Mhm. Bob Barnes?
yeah,
Bob Arnis.
Bob Barnes, okay.
And
his son.
one of the biggest ones was that he came up and he said, you know, when we insisted on 4 bedrooms, since there were 4 people that had an investment, they needed to have some space for themselves.
Uh-huh.
And we had a large utility room. Well, first of all, the stairway, how are we going to get down?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Put it there.
That was a.
And then that cut into the utility room, which was much bigger. And then he says, you know, we can't get into that bathroom without cutting and still have enough room for 2 bedrooms.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how long I sat and tried to figure out how you could do it. And finally came up with, well, that's one way we could get in, by cutting the utility room back a bit more and cutting the wall back in,
Yeah.
and then into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And basically cutting it, I mean, the basement originally wasn't planned to go all the way back to almost the original wall. It was sort of almost going to go like halfway, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
The basement.
The original plan,
Mhm.
yeah. But from the time we started working with Arnis, it was full basement.
Full basement by that time.
And
Okay.
that was supposed to be, we thought in terms of a recreation room down there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's turned into a nice living area now instead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's worked out really good. Okay.
Well,
That's enough. But those were fun times.
But missing busted up.
By your boat, okay?
What did you do?
Bottom's the hardest one.
I want you to you don't do it.
Thank you. You did it.
And I beat him. How about you? How about you? Bye.
Boys and girls, we're gonna start cleanup time in just a minute. So as you're done, fine, but pick up what you're doing, okay?
Call your teacher here. After we gather, call your teacher. Okay. Let me show you. Come on now, you help pick up.
think he goes to bed?
This kitten.